Hello friends, welcome to Foxu Tech. So today we're gonna see another interesting topic called the stateful set on Kubernetes. Right. So before we jump into that, what is stateful set on Kubernetes? We should understand about stateful applications. So why this is important? So let me come with a proper background. So the background is, let's assume like you are running your currently the most of the database is running either in the managed service, or if you are running on the VM, or we were having our own external service provider and they will be providing a database connection. Let's assume you have a use case or most of the team is already following it. So they are trying to deploy their database on the Kubernetes because Kubernetes is getting evolved very faster. And as per today, there is a 40% of teams already migrated to the uh, Kubernetes, and rest all the world 60% of applications are planning to migrate to the Kubernetes, right? So when we are speaking about the applications, we should not skip the stateful application, which is nothing but it's connecting the static application to the any kind of dependencies or wherever there is a read and write operation performs. Let's assume like you are running an application and that's either an Nginx or you are running a web application called Java or the Node.js or any kind of a front-end application that reads the data from any of the database. Let's assume MySQL, Postgres, or the Oracle database. So from there you want to fetch the data. So in this case, so this is called a stateful application. So it's need the data should be read and the data should be secured, right? So because without data, so the application will not perform or we may lose the business, right? So for that, we need to make sure the database is properly set. So when it's coming a environment kind of a Kubernetes, if you deploy the pod or something, so let's assume we are just deploying a database. What happens whenever we are deleting the particular resource? Automatically it's delete all the related objects also, right? So in this case, there is a high chance the database data also get deleted. So that will be a big loss for us. To avoid that things, so what the Kubernetes brought up with stateful set. The stateful set is the best thing what it does. So we're gonna see it, right? So stateful set is a set of parts with a unique and persistent host name, or let's assume IDs. So if you are worked on the deployments or normal pod deployment, it's automatically generate the own naming pattern. It deploys the pods, right? So you may see that start with any kind of a name what we given. Along with that, it's add some random numbers or the random letters to the name. So with that, it will be so hard for even the database, or if something is happening again, like it's creating the database or the persistence volumes or something, it's trying to read, it may like a hard to communicate or restrict the access to selected resources. So let's say today it's coming with the pod ABC, and you mention only pod ABC should read this data from the database. And tomorrow some case or some unknown reason the pod got restarted, again it's changed the name to pod XYZ. So when it's trying to communicate to the database, it will reject the connections because it's not the expected name, right? So in this case, your application may be get affected. So, right. So to avoid such a things, the what stateful set comes with, it's bring the static IDs. It will give the static numbers or the IDs. So with that, your database will be communicated. Okay. And also it's mainly dedicatedly they created for the stateful set applications. So stateful applications, that's the best advantage. And also you can do like you're running some stateful set with any kind of a storage. It stores keep the state of the data in the persistent storage volume of the stateful set. And even if the pod is down, your data will be secured and it won't take any issues, right? And also if your pod is scheduled to different machine and it's established the connection, still the connection will be happens. Right? So let's see that what is stateful set definitions. So stateful set is set up a pod with a unique and persistent host name and ID. The stateful set designed to run the stateful application in the Kubernetes with a dedicated persistent storage. When the pod runs on the part of the stateful set, the Kubernetes keep the state of the pod persistence volumes of the stateful set, even if the pod is shut down, right? As I said, and the commonly used to replicate the database with the unique persistence IDs. Let's say like you have a two database and it's running up in a two different node and the database name got changed. Your service may be still referring the static name and that is got changed. Your application thinks my database is down, right? So that will be a big issue. So to avoid that, this persistence ID is very useful. And even your application reschedule or moved completely from the new data center, even though if you are using a stateful set, your name won't be changed, it will be very static. Right, so this is how it's look like. You have a stateful set and you have a pod with a 0, 1, and it's reads the persistence volume climb and the persistence volumes. So if you are having a multiple things and even the name won't be changed, it will be read. So how this combination happens to the users? So let's assume like you have a user, so who is using something like a, so let's assume right. So let's assume there is application is trying to read your data and you have a connection is established. It won't read, right? The read will be happen through all the place. It can be read every parts, but when there is a read can be happen every time, but write won't be happen all the parts. This will happen only on the first part. So if the writes will happen, then the data will be synced across, right? So that is how it works. So it won't perform any other activities like it won't write in all the places and it will get issues. No, that won't happen. So whenever you are writing, it will happen on the first part and remaining all will be synced to the data, right? So this is how the database stateful set has been working. And next thing is how to or when to use the stateful set, right? So let's assume you are running a MySQL database, or let's assume any kind of a database, okay, not only single, and you have scaled your application, the database to 2 or 3, right? And front end want to read the data, and as I said, the read request will forward to all the 3 parts. And however, if you want to write any of the connections, it will be right to the primary part, and rest of the things will be synced. Okay, you can achieve only by using the stateful set. And let's assume like you are scaling down or deleting the pod or delete, it will not delete the volumes. Okay, so if you are performing any other operation, other things, it will delete all the associated things, but here it won't happen. So with that, what you are achieving is data is very safer. So you will be, even if you restart the pod or after some time you are deploying the same pod or you are moving this volume to some other place, and you can just still mount to the new application. The MySQL is example here. You can use any kind of application databases. Or let's assume the Redis pod. So it's like to keep the caches across and you want to use it. So you can use the Redis pod, and Cassandra clusters, you want to maintain the access to the data, you can use it. Or something like you are defining the resources and network identifier. So that should be selectively using for the web application. So in that case also you can use this stateful set. Okay. Okay. So let's see the demo first. So before we do the further topic, so already we have published our blog article on our blog Oxutech. You can read it if you are if you wish to read it. So this is the YAML we're gonna apply it. So this is a stateful set. You can see what we're gonna do. Two replicas we're gonna create, and it's a simple one. It's like an Nginx pod, and it contains a port 80 and rest all like a default values. Okay, so let me log into my node. So this is my node and I have this YAML file already. So let me apply the change. Before that, I'll show you I don't have any pod, I think. So let's make sure there is no pod. Okay, so we are good. So let's apply the file like nginx.yaml. Right. So now let's check the pod, and here you can see this will be coming one by one pod. There is a two pods is given, so we may see the replica is 2 here, right? But it's not going to deploy all together. So it will make sure the first pod is up and running, then only it goes for the second pod. So if you are restarting your stateful set, very careful. You should keep watch this until it's come first pod is getting down or something, it will be waiting. And one more thing you have to notify here, the naming pattern. It doesn't follow the naming pattern. So web hyphen some random data details, it will follow that from start from 0 with a persistence ID. Okay. So we can see the next one will come with the web hyphen 1. So once this pod is come, you can see it. Okay. So you are seeing the container is in still creation state, and let's wait for it. You can see the first pod is up and running and well and good. And second pod, you can see, as I said, it's creating a 0, 1 pattern, and it will be very unique persistence IDs, and it will be using the same, right? So let's wait. All right. So now we can see them both the parts are ready, right? So we are good in this. So we have given the labels, everything. So this is everything is achieved. And so how we can see this? So let's assume like you want to see the stateful set. Let me not go with the pods. What I'll do, I'll go with STS. It's stateful set. This is my stateful state. I'm using a shortcuts. You can write it full name. So as per your wish. So I'm giving a describe, and my stateful set name is web. And if you're using a selected namespace, please be specific with this. Otherwise, you may not see the stateful set. Okay, so as I said, there is a 2 desired replicas has been deployed, and what else? We can see it in this. So I'll come to this annotation. This is very much important for debugging. So we'll be seeing on the coming slide. And the rest all the details are very unique. You may aware of it. So that's it. In this demo, I think if you audio delete, I think you may have we'll see that at the last. Okay. So let's jump into the demo slide. So next is a troubleshooting part, how you can troubleshoot it. So one way is getting the parts and do the describe and check the events and check the logs. That is how you can see. And most commonly there is a 2 state will be there. One is a failed state, or there is a more one called unknown state. So when this occurs, so when you see the whenever you see there is a state like a failed one, so you may see there is due to the any of the container which is running in the pod maybe not exited, or it may be exited with a forcefully, or something is happening with the selected containers. So that time you see the error failed in the container state, sorry, pod state. Or if you see unknown, in the sense unknown happens commonly when there is no communication between the nodes to the scheduler, right? So let's assume like you have deployed your pod, and it's not showing any of the details, in the sense it's not communicating to the master nodes. The master is not getting any of the update from the kubelet or the selected node. So when that is happens, so your pod status will be in unknown state. So maybe the kubelet is down, or kubelet having difficulty to reach the master is rebooting, or there will be a multiple factors. So this has been explained in our previous Kubernetes troubleshooting article. So you can take a look on that and see what happens and how do you fix this. Okay. Coming back to stateful set. So one issue could be like the pod may be down due to any of the definitions, like your image is not given or some due to the issues. You can check the logs and troubleshoot it. And second thing is like if we wish to debug, you are not getting any of the known issue or something I want to debug, or another issue in the stateful set, you should aware if any pod is having a problem, immediately the stateful set replace that. Okay. So in that time, what happens, by the time you understand there is an issue and you want to troubleshoot, your pod may be got restarted, right? So what you can do in that time, so there is a annotation you can set. So as I said in the stateful set description, so there is a false, right? So if you do the initialize in false, in the sense the pod will be still follow the stateful set. If there is any issue, automatically it's get restart, right? So let's say like you don't want to perform this, you want to set to true. So what happens when you set this annotation to true? Okay, I'm giving only for the one pod. I'm not giving for the both the pods, because let's assume only one pod is having an issue, right? So I'm setting this annotation and let's check that. CTL describe pod web1, and you should see the annotation details set to true. Okay, so same thing I'll show for the web0. So to make sure it's not a wrong values, it's a false. Okay, so here our assumption is the pod web, our assumption is web1 is having some issue and we like to debug, right? When you set this annotation to true, what happens, your pod will not be restarted by the stateful set. It won't listen any command from the stateful set. The connection will be dropped and you can see the pod logs and events and see what happens. So once you are identify the issues, so you can be just again set this annotation to false. So you can use this annotation to false. Please make sure you are not keeping it as it in the true. Whenever you do, in case if the pod is down due to any other reason, your pod will be permanently down and you won't give the high availability to your users. Okay. Always, if you are enabling this annotation to true, please immediately make it false once your debug session is over. Okay, so this could happen another way also. There will be some race condition, as I said. So in case the pod is down and you are trying to establish this annotation, immediately your pod may be disappear, or your the debug option may not happen, because already there is a issues, already there is the issue identify the Kubernetes and stateful set controller. So it's take a immediate action, right? That is what we expect. So how do you overcome in this case? What you have to do now? So you have to enable this feature using a direct YAML file. So you can see it in this. So false has been set. So when you say false, and you can just try to true, right? So when you do this, so what happens? So the value will be set to the troubleshooting part and you can troubleshoot your application. Okay, so this is how you can troubleshoot the stateful set, and hope this is useful. Next thing is like a best practices. So what are the best practice we should follow for the stateful set? Always keep the separate namespace for the database and place all your components and such as a config map and secrets or services in the particular namespace. Don't use multiple namespace, that may avoid a lot of confusion, and put any custom scripts under the config maps. And also use the headless services instead of using a load balancer one, creating a service object. And you can use any kind of a secret management tool. HashiCorp Vault is a famous one, and nowadays there is a more number of secret tools are coming in the market. You can use either one of that and make sure your secrets are not only stored in the selected namespace. Okay, and why this is important, because it provides a lot of encryption and no one can hack it easily. Just someone log into your Kubernetes cluster, and if they want to read the they want to they want to read your secrets, they can easily read the secret from the base 64 decryption, right? So that is not good for the applications. Always keep the secrets in some remote or third-party application that will secure us the clusters and any kind of application data. And also use this persistent volume storage for storing it. And even if you delete it, the pod dies, it won't get deleted. Okay. Or if you're just mounting any mount point within the spot, that is not guaranteed. Maybe that get deleted. Persistent volumes are always secure. Okay. Yes, so that's the end of this video. Hope this is useful, guys. And if you find this valuable, please like our videos and subscribe it. Please share with your friends and please keep visit us. And we are coming with more videos now, and there'll be additional details on Kubernetes or any new topics you are looking for. Please put it in the comment section. We'll try to cover it as much as possible. Okay. So thanks for your time. Have a good day. Keep watching us. Thank you. Bye bye.